I'm Jim Longworth, and welcome to another edition of Triad Today. Coming up later on, our infamous roundtable gets together. We'll see what kind of controversies they get into. But between now and then, some great guests and important information coming your way, including a discussion about career pathways, that and much, much more. So stay tuned. But first, I want to talk about something called value-based care. I don't understand it. I want to understand it, and I have two experts who are going to help me through this. On my immediate right, Blair Barton Percival, Area Agency on Aging Director for the Piedmont Triad Regional Council. Next to him, our good buddy Jason Bazin, who is Trust Program Officer for the Kate B. Reynolds Charitable Trust. Welcome, gentlemen. Good to see you.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Blair, I'm going to spend most of the time with you, I think, because I want to sort of get a grip on what this means. What is value-based care?
It's really about customer-centric services and holding organizations to deliver those services accountable for a high standard of service.
Right.
And I think we all recognize what value is, right? If you're buying a home, you're buying a house, you're buying some clothes, we recognize value and we associate it with costs and price, and we try to determine if it's good. Well, if you want to put it into an equation, you could say value equals patient experience and quality divided by cost.
All right, now let's find out how this works on a more of a local or regional level, because I understand there's some pilot programs going on, the Medicaid pilot programs. Now, what are they, and are any of them going to be in this area?
We're hoping there's going to be one right here in this area, yes.
What will they do if it is?
We will deliver services to individuals who are receiving health care from Medicaid, and we will provide them community-based services that will address the social determinants of health, such as transportation, nutrition. It could be home-delivered meals. It'll include interpersonal violence and housing.
So it could be just as simple as if I'm a Medicaid patient and I say, gee, I need to go to the doctor, but I don't have a way to get there. That's going to be part of the pilot program initiative if it comes here.
Absolutely.
Now, we didn't rehearse this, I don't know, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but I mean, how are you going to know if the pilot program comes here? Do we have to wait and see? Or?
We will wait. The request for proposal is due this summer, and awards will be announced in the fall.
Now, if it comes here, and we'll keep our fingers crossed, how do you think that's going to impact patient care and quality of life in the community?
Increase it tremendously. It's a win-win-win. I mean, for any Medicaid patient that can get a more comprehensive service delivery system and receive what they need and get to the grocery store, it's not just about medical care. Grocery store, perhaps getting the leak in the roof fixed.
Right.
It would just do tremendous things for quality of life.
Jason, why is Kate B. Reynolds Charitable Trust interested in value-based care? And what I mean is, it's got to be something that's consistent with your mission. Tell me about it.
Sure. Well, when Miss Reynolds was alive and in her work and in her will, she dedicated a lot of her life and resources to looking at health disparities, trying to decrease those health disparities, seeing that people had access to care. So this has some promise around really improving the health of individuals. So a lot of what takes place, a lot of what the research is saying is that a lot of what affects our health happens outside the hospital, happens outside of the clinic, things that are in our environment, these barriers, transportation and things of that nature. So we're very interested in this type of approach. It's a population health approach.
Right.
And we're just really interested in that and making sure that the health disparities actually do decrease.
Yeah, let me ask just a devil's advocate question, Blair, before we run out of time. What if somebody comes up to you and says, hey, Blair, I saw you on TV, but I'm not a Medicaid patient. Nobody in my family is a Medicaid patient. Why should I care if this program comes here?
Well, there's certainly the economic development component that it'll be bringing in hundreds of millions of dollars to Forsyth, Guilford, and Rockingham counties.
Okay.
Which that in itself will provide jobs,
right.
Boost the community.
Sure.
Lots of benefits as well.
Well, that's a good reason. All right, now for more information on the Piedmont Triad Regional Council, I want to give them a plug here, www.ptrc.org. That's ptrc.org. For more information on Kate B. Reynolds Charitable Trust, it's very simple. Visit www.kbr.org. I'll say it for the radio listening audience again, kbr.org. To Blair and Jason, we'll keep our fingers crossed about the pilot program.
Yes.
Thanks for educating me about this.
Thanks for having us.
All right,
Absolutely.
Guys. We'll be right back. now on Triad Today. Always glad when this gentleman can stop by because he's such a busy fellow. He is often running and doing things and holding forums and helping people, and here he is. We grabbed him. Next to me, David Mounts, my friend, Chairman and CEO of Inmar. Welcome back to the program,
Good to
sir.
see you, Jim.
Now, before we get to, I want to sort of do a review and a recap of how the big forum went, the analytics forum. Before we do that, just in case somebody just moved into the area and they say Inmar, they're looking at your title. What is Inmar? What do you do?
Well, we're inspired every day to take technology and analytics and apply it to everyday problems and make the outcomes of those needs much, much better.
And that sort of manifests itself in everything from, if I'm at the grocery store, I might have some coupons that have to be scanned. And
yeah, everything from marketing, supply chain, and financial management of businesses in healthcare, retail, and CPG.
That's great. Now, over the past couple of months, for people that have been watching the show, we talked about and promoted the big analytics forum that you have each year. And now that it's over with, just over with,
yes.
I want you to give us your assessment of how it went. And then the second part of that question is, there were so many heavy hitters who took the stage. What was the takeaway? So how did it go in general, and what are some of the takeaways?
You're right about heavy hitters. We had Google there, we had Henkel, we had Lowe's Food, and the speakers this year were phenomenal. I think the forum went really well. We had over 800 people in attendance. This is the 5th year that we've done it,
wow.
And it continues to grow and be strongly attended by industry and academia, and that collaboration is really what the forum was all about, bringing those minds together. There were several takeaways that I think are very important this year. We all often talk about data analytics and ways to use it and apply it, and we talk about problems where people have done that and gotten results and outcomes. And a theme emerged this time, we're using small data, you know, in very, very useful ways.
What do you mean small data?
Small data. So thinking about not necessarily vast amounts of data, but smaller amounts of data to understand ways to emotionally connect directly with consumers. What is it that they are really needing? What is their psychological need, and how do we understand that and infuse that in what we're doing? People don't want to be sold to anymore. In fact, you know, you can sell more by selling a lot less. That was another theme that came out of it.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what your business is. These focus on data and analytics to drive decision making is really pervasive everywhere now.
One of the big heavy hitter speakers is Omar Johnson.
Yes.
Remind the folks what he is famous for.
Yeah.
But the question is, as I understand it, I didn't get to hear his speech, but he had sort of an amazing way, philosophy of reaching consumers.
He did. Omar is one of the industry's giants in terms of understanding consumer behavior and why they do what they do. He is the past CMO for Beats by Dre, which are the famous headphones that we see many celebrities and others wearing.
Okay.
Yeah. And he discovered some of the psychological reasons why people were using headphones. And one of those that he discovered in conjunction with the Olympics, by creating a center where Olympians could come and just get away from all of the activity that sometimes can be overwhelming. He created a safe zone and began to understand why certain people were using this. And one of the insights that he gained was understanding that sometimes when you're getting ready to compete, you want positive thoughts, and that they weren't just headphones for listening to music, but they were noise blockers to keep out negativity.
Right.
And so he wove that into his campaigns, his social media and influencer campaigns. He had all these Olympic athletes wearing his product, and they later sold the company for $3 billion.
Wow.
Pretty big success story.
Wow, keep out negativity.
Keep out negativity.
My wife Pam does that. She changes the locks, and then I can't get in to give off any negativity. Now, I understand that you also, that these weren't just, you know, CEOs and people. Very quickly, time's about to run out, but tell me about, you had high school kids there too.
Yeah, high school and college kids. Gen Youth, we did a competition, asked the youth, what kind of technology and application would you like to use for helping you be healthier and eating healthier. And the winners were two of our schools, Dudley High School and Mount Tabor.
Wow.
And they each received $5,000 grants for their schools to implement nutrition programs. And then we had several universities in. The top three were Wake Forest, Duke, and the University of Denver. And they competed in an analytics competition, and Wake won the day.
Young ideas. For more information about Inmar, I want folks to go to inmar.com. You can find out that. And I'm not even going to ask him this last question. I'm assuming we're going to have an analytics forum in 2020. So he's smiling over there.
Well, I got one better than that. We're going to have an e-forum beginning May 1st this year. So if you missed the content, you can come online and see it at inmar.com.
There you go. David Mounts. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this. Back now on Triad Today, and I'll just bet that everybody watching today, or if you're listening on WSJS radio, I bet we've all had some kind of joint pain at some time or another. I'm pointing at myself here, knee pain. Anyway, it's horrible, but I have a guest here who's going to tell us that there's good news and there's help available right now. Let's meet him. Dr. David Pollock, Professor and Chief of Adult Reconstruction, Department of Orthopedic Surgery at Wake Forest Baptist Health, a fellow Winston-Salem native. We were born in almost the same place. Not the same crib, though, because he's a young guy, but welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
What type of joint pain do you see the most of? What's the most common?
Probably the most common we see is knee pain.
Yeah.
You know, people, including myself and you, have been very active our whole lives and gradually develop arthritis in our knees. So knee pain is the most.
So you don't usually see, yeah, you're right. The arthritis type stuff usually hits the old guys like me. It's not something that a 20-year-old who's active is going to start getting arthritis, right?
Not necessarily. Sometimes we see congenital problems with people that cause them to have problems, mostly in the hip side rather than knee. Knee is more of an age-related problem.
Now, what treatment options are available? I guess I'm looking at there's surgical and there's non-surgical, like I understand all these things, but tell me what the options are.
Sure. The non-surgical treatment options typically start with ibuprofen or an anti-inflammatory, like Aleve, again, ibuprofen. If those don't really help you, we can use injections like steroid injections, continue down with hyaluronic acid injections. And if those tend to fail, then we start talking about surgical options.
Right.
It depends on what the problem is, whether it's a mild cartilage deformity or meniscus deformity that can be treated surgically with an arthroscopy, which is really basically cleaning out the joint,
right.
or whether it's too far gone and you need to have a replacement.
Now, if surgery is necessary to repair or replace a joint, how is it that you and your team work throughout the process? You don't have to give the whole thing, but give me like a 30-second primer on this. What do you do to help the patient?
Sure. So everything starts with an initial evaluation with one of our surgeons at Wake. And once we make that decision to do surgery on you, we have you see our scheduler and kind of put you into the process. Then within the month of your surgery, we have you see our anesthesiologist in our pre-op clinic. They're there really to optimize each patient, make sure they're as healthy as you can be to avoid complications.
Right.
And that really starts the ball rolling, getting you ready for your surgery and then your postoperative care. We've actually developed a team at Wake Forest where we all work together, just like spokes in a wheel of a bicycle tire.
Yeah.
Everybody's important in taking care of the patient too.
And with follow-up too.
Absolutely. That starts from pre-op all the way through their surgery to their post-op and follow-up.
If somebody's afraid, which would be like I would be, to have surgery, or they've heard that, oh God, I don't want to have surgery, any quick words you could give to us to put somebody's mind at ease?
Sure, that's normal to be nervous and afraid. But the one reason you're having surgery is to get you back to who you are, to improve your quality of life and function. So there's a good return out of all that whole process. It's worth it.
Yeah. I understand you guys won a Gold Seal of Approval award very quickly. Tell me, what was that about?
Sure. So the Joint Commission who comes in and certifies our programs, they came in and looked at how we communicate with each other, how we take care of patients to improve our quality, improve our outcomes, and that's the surgical outcome.
Wow.
And have given us a rating that really we're trying to be at the top of our game.
That means a lot to the patients too.
Absolutely.
Sometimes
absolutely.
you go in places and you'll see a cleanliness thing at a restaurant, but you're still not sure. But
Correct.
this, you've got the Gold Seal. I think that's great. Hey, folks at home, to make an appointment with Dr. Pollock, you can call 336 area code 716-WAKE. That number's on screen. Or you can visit, for more information, wakehealth.edu/ortho. I'll say it again for the radio listening audience, wakehealth.edu/ortho. Dr. David Pollock, thanks for all you do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
All right, don't be a stranger.
Right.
We'll be right back after this. Right now on Triad Today, always glad when some of the folks from Alamance Community College can drop by because they do so much, not only for their immediate community, but throughout the whole area, and trying to get people to work, get them trained. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about right now with a special guest. Next to me is Jennifer Mock. She's Director of Academic and Career Readiness at Alamance Community College. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Much of what you and your team do is to help folks, obviously, make sure they get a high school diploma, that they're ready to go from that standpoint. But you're also focused on what comes after high school. Tell me what.
Yes. Well, as you know, getting a high school diploma is the first step. So we need to do more. And so we basically have a lot of programs that we can do both at the same time.
Yeah, and I understand that there's a governor's initiative called My Future NC. So I'm wondering what that's all about and how that might fit in with what you guys are doing.
Well, much of the national dialogue has been about the skills gap and how we're going to fill it. And so one of the ways in which Alamance is addressing it is having what we call crossover or transition programs into the college.
Right. Now, there's something that I think it was Ed that sent me an email one day about something called Basic Skills Plus. Now, I want you to help me understand what that is, because I know that, you know, statistically, people say there's so many North Carolinians that don't even have any post-secondary education. So now, how is Alamance Community College facing that challenge, and what is this Basic Skills Plus thing?
Right. Well, Basic Skills Plus is actually a free program, so someone can come, get their GED, their high school equivalency, and at the same time they can do pathway programs like pharmacy tech, machining, child care, nursing, so they can do both at the same time and be successful at both.
Right, and you had a lot of good feedback from that then?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, from people that have gone through that. There's also something that, that I read about called Career College. Now, who does that help? What is that about, and who does that help?
Right. Well, Career College is an exciting program, and that program is specifically designed for our students with intellectual and developmental disabilities. And so we have programs that work on academics, social skills, but they're also working on pathways such as auto mechanics, horticulture, animal care. And so they're doing both at the same time and then seeking employment afterwards. Yeah,
and I know we didn't rehearse this, but again, I'm sort of assuming just from reading what you're saying that your big thrust is like, let's get people prepared. And then, but you've also got to keep an eye on, I would think, what jobs are out there, what the demand is.
Right.
What can you get into once you leave, you know, and do these courses? I mean, how do you make that happen?
Well, we work with our job boards, and we looked at our community and say what jobs are in demand. So we want to prepare people for jobs that are actually out there and they can go and get employed right away. Right.
How did you, I'm going to get personal with you for just a second. Why did you choose this field? I'm always curious when I have somebody on the show for the first time. Was there a person who impacted on you or influenced you, or what made you want to do this?
Well, I've always at the heart loved literacy, and I love children and families, and so I found this is a way to impact families with their literacy. So when one person in the family changes, a whole family changes, and that starts with the first step, getting education, and then getting a job to sustain their family.
Absolutely. You pick up that paycheck and it makes all the difference. I just think that's great. Before time runs out, let me do a couple things here. One is to make sure we put this information up on screen. Alamancecc.edu is the website for Alamance Community College. I'll say it again for the radio listening audience, Alamancecc.edu. And now, are these things that we talked about, I don't want to put you on the spot, but are these things like the Basic Skills Plus and some other things that you're doing, can people just go to the website, get in touch with your team, and say, I want to get in there, or is there a certain time frame that you can only enter it?
That's a great question. So we do have entry times, but they're periodically throughout the year. So the best strategy is just to call, and then we walk the person through the different steps.
That's great. Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Right.
That's really
Thank you.
cool. Yeah. All right, Jennifer Mock. We'll be right back after this. On Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable. Hope you'll pick up your copy of Yes Weekly. I have a column in there about an Alzheimer's relief fund set up for my good buddy Johnny Crawford, who used to play on The Rifleman, and I hope you'll read that and the whole magazine. Now, to the roundtable on my right, but always the political left, Ogie Overman, the great broadcaster and journalist, but he's way on the left sometimes, you know. Not that far. In the middle, always in the middle, so yeah, lean to the Don Martin, Dr. Don Martin, professor, High Point University, also vice chair of the Forsyth County Commissioners, and bringing up the rear, former sheriff of Guilford County, and a man who Joe Biden frequently kisses on the back of the head, B.J. Barnes. We're not going to have any of that on here today. All right, let's get to the first topic. Once again, North Carolina public school teachers say they plan to march on Raleigh and lobby for better pay and want schools to close on May 1st to accommodate their absence. Guys, are you okay with this no-show stunt for the second year in a row? Ogie.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a desperate time, Jim. I mean, we're ranked so low in teacher pay, and we've got to start treating our teachers with some respect and go ahead and pay them a decent wage.
Don.
I do not agree with trying to close schools on May 1st and do that again. Too many people missed a lot of snow, too many issues, testing's coming up, and I think you got to make your point another way.
BJ.
No, I'm sorry. It's a bad idea. And as far as the ranking, if you put cost of living in there, we rank 20th in the nation.
All right, state lawmakers, speaking of legislation and stuff, are considering a bill that would outlaw school spankings in every county. Now, the folks at home, you might think, wait a minute, I thought that was already outlawed. No. Because down in around near Lumberton, I mean, they've had a lot of spanking incidents, whatever. It's been left up to the schools and the decisions of the principals and the teachers. But now the state wants to say, well, let's ban it everywhere. Guys, you okay with the proposed statewide ban on spanking? Ogie.
You know, we've been talking about this since I broke into journalism in the early 80s. This corporal punishment thing has been, I remember that lady from Guilford County brought it up years ago and about got crucified for. Yeah. I'm against corporal punishment. You got to start somewhere to break the chain of violence.
Ban it
you got to
everywhere.
start.
Don, statewide ban.
I have no problem with a statewide ban. Most states do that. However, Forsyth County did it by policy a long time ago.
Yeah, you already initiated when you were superintendent. You said no spanking in Forsyth County.
It was before I got here.
Okay.
It was
BJ.
In my case, it's a few years too late because I got my share of spankings when I was in school. But I have no problem with them doing away with it. I think they ought to start spanking the parents.
Yeah, well, that's a whole nother, they have to make a law about that. A bill has been introduced in the General Assembly. Now this just hit the wires, I guess it was a couple days ago, which if this bill is passed, would allow all UNC colleges to sell beer, wine, and in some cases mixed drinks at athletic events so long as their individual Board of Trustees approved it. Are you okay with that, Ogie?
You know, I am. They're going to sneak it in. We snuck beer in at East Carolina, liquor all the time. I mean, that was just everybody snuck it in.
They're doing it anyway.
Just go and make a buck. It's all a big money-making juggernaut anyway.
Don?
I'm okay.
You're okay with that. BJ?
I really don't have any problem with it either.
Either way, so you guys are all in agreement. And some of the statistics are saying that state colleges, camps that have done that have cut down on some of the incidents that have led to arrest. All right, very quickly, refusing to let them be vaccinated, the governor of Kentucky recently exposed his 9 children to chickenpox, let them catch the disease so they'd be immune later on. Are you okay with a governor or any parent deliberately letting their child get sick? Ogie.
Now, BJ hit this one about spanking the parents. What kind of idiot does that? That is the worst thing I can't even conceive of that.
Doesn't want to do vaccines. Don?
As long as we're not hurting other people, I guess people have to make their own decisions.
But they could expose other kids, right?
Well, most of the kids will have had the vaccination.
That's true. I didn't think, well, at the very beginning, though, you could expose. All right,
Well,
BJ.
Yeah, but there's some people that don't. Some of the older people out there, for example, that may not have vaccinations, and those kids could infect them. I mean, this is a public safety issue.
So you think he did wrong?
Yes, I do.
Guilford County Commissioner Skip Austin, who's been on the show many times before, he wants taxpayers to fund a $300,000 diversity study that would prove that not enough county contracts are awarded to minority-owned businesses. Now, here's the problem I have with this. I think we already know that not enough minority businesses are awarded contracts. If we know that, why do we need to spend $300,000? I mean, couldn't that $300,000 be used to give to the minority contractors as a bonus or something? Why are we doing a study to prove what we think we already know?
I agree. I think BJ and I are going to really agree on this one too. Skip, come on, man.
And it could be as much as $400,000.
We know this. We can fix that problem without spending $300,000 on it.
All right, Don, what do you think?
No need for the study.
No need for any of the study.
No need to study.
But how would you fix the problem, though, Don?
Well, there are ways to fix it, but I probably have. The state has a goal. I'm a county commissioner. We have the same goals. I'm for protecting taxpayer dollars, and it has to be the lowest bidder and the best bidder.
BJ.
No need for the study, and the long and the short of it is if they can fix anything, they need to fix the law that says that the counties can't choose anyone other than the lowest bidder without cost.
That would change it. All right, finally, guys, the owner of an apartment complex in Raleigh is tired of residents letting their dogs poop on the grass, so he's now using DNA tests to track which poop belongs to which dog and then fine the dog owner $100 for the first violation. Guys, are you okay with this DNA poop test, or does it violate the dog's right of privacy and free expression? Ogie.
I think this guy's got deeper problems than dog poop in the grass, Jim. Something is wrong with
He's
that
taking
guy.
DNA tests, Don.
Taking
What do
it
you
way
think, Don?
too far.
What do you think, Don?
I don't have any problem with it.
You don't have any problem with him taking the test?
Hey, if he wants to go out and execute those tests all day, go for it.
That's one of those things. There's too much testing in schools. There's too much DNA poop test. The BJ.
Won't happen in Guilford County because they're doing away with DNA there.
Yeah.
DNA testing.
That's
so,
right.
You know, but the long and the short of it is this is ridiculous.
All right, so you wouldn't do it?
No.
All right. Well, that's all the time we have, fortunately. I don't know where this was going, but anyway. And are you going to run for mayor of Summerfield? Is that what I heard?
I'm still thinking about it.
Still thinking about it.
I'm being pushed to it.
Well, just don't go and announce it after the show. At least announce it on the show. All right, that's all the time we have. Oh, except for this. Last week, a hospital in Portland, Maine announced that all 9 of its maternity unit nurses are pregnant, and all 9 are expecting at the same time. Quote, "It's a miracle," said one very handsome doctor who looked exhausted. I'm not sure what that meant, but
I saw a movie
for all of us here on Triad Today, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.